Okay, we're going to look at circumference and arc length today. All right, this was the activity we did in class. If you remember, we measured the circular items, and we figured out the C over D, and then it's a decimal, and then we figured out what your, well, I guess what it averaged out to, okay? And it should have been close to pi, depending how good our measuring was. All right, so there's our activity. All right, so for today, our first vocabulary word is circumference. It's the distance around the circle. If it helps you to kind of think about maybe perimeter, kind of, but it's for circles. So that's your circumference. Diameter is the distance across the circle at its widest point. So it's going to go through the center of the circle. So like this line right here would be our diameter. This would be our radius. Okay, it's half the diameter of the circle. The distance from the center of the circle to the edge of the circle. So it's going to go from the center and then to any point on the edge. That might be hard to read, but it says circumference equals pi times diameter. There, that might be a little better. Or C equals pi times D, or you could say C over D equals pi. So then you can see how it's a direct variation equation. That's why we're doing this, okay? Because you've got your two variables, and they're going to be equal to your variation constant. And this would be it written not as a fraction. Okay? So if we're to determine the missing value, we want to know the circumference equals what? Well, circumference equals pi times diameter. If my diameter is 8, I'm just going to multiply by 8. Okay? And we want that decimal. Let's round it to the hundredths. So let's go pi times 8. And I'm going to use the actual pi key, which is going to be not just 3.14. It's going to be the whole thing. And if you're using my calculators, the way you find that, I don't know if you can see it, but if you go second and then this key right here, that'll get us our pi times 8. Okay? All right, so same thing here. I'm giving you a diameter of 17, so it's just going to be C equals pi times 17. And we'll round that. So again, pi times 17 is going to get me about 53.41. I should put labels on this. This is feet. Okay, and then back here it would have been meters. Okay? All right, this time I'm only giving you the radius. Okay, so if it's pi times diameter, I still have my pi, but then my diameter would be twice this. Okay? So pi times diameter. So about 87.96. Sorry, that's a decimal. Okay. And let's put a label on that. That would be inches. Okay. Now, if I'm giving you the circumference and I want to know the diameter, I'm going to start with the same equation. Okay, but this would be like what we were doing the other day. If I give you, in this case, if I give you the circumference is 50, okay, and I want to know the diameter, well, I'm going to have to solve, so I'm going to divide on this one instead of multiplying. Okay, so 50 divided by pi, get me about 15.92. 92 feet. Okay, so a little different on that one. Okay, go. All right, arc is part of the circle. So I tried to color code it, but it would be like from here to here. All right, on this, here's your central angle, and it's this. If you think of a pizza, for example, if this was a pizza and this was my slice of pizza, the arc is just going to be that crust. Okay, be it stuffed crust or regular crust. All right. Arc length is the measurement of that length. Okay. So it's part of the circumference of the circle formed by the central angle. So here's our central angle. In other words, it's an angle that has its vertex on the center of the circle. Okay, and it would be this length right there. There's a formula for it. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. Let's make that black. Whoa, never mind. Okay, the arc length formula proportion is going to be the arc length. There, we'll just do it on that part. There we go. So it's the arc length over the circumference equals the measure of the central angle over 360. Okay, so if we were to write our proportion for this one, our arc length is what we're trying to find. Let's use black. All right, so arc length is our variable over the circumference. Well, that would be pi times my diameter. My radius is 10, so my diameter would be 20. The measure of the central angle in this case is 65 degrees. And then it's always over 360. Okay, so then we're just going to cross multiply in our calculator. So pi times 20 times 65 equals divided by 360 gets me about 11.34 inches. Okay. All right, so let's try another one. This time I gave you the diameter of 17, so we'd go arc length over circumference, which is pi times our diameter, equals the measure of the central angle. Well, this is a half circle, so that's 180 degrees over 360. So pi times 17 times 180 equals divided by 360 is about 26.7 centimeters. It was 703, so we'll round it down. Okay, there's another one like that. All right, let's just write it out quick. Central angle, arc length over pi times diameter would be 46. Central angle is 90 divided by 360. So pi times 46 times 90 divided by 360 gets me about 36.13 millimeters. Okay. All right, that's pretty much it. Just those two equations.